First of all, I wanted to thank everybody involved in the panel discussion. We're honored to have you all on here. And I think that there's quite a few people, manufacturers and brand ambassadors that have registered and have joined us because of who we have involved in the discussion. So we really appreciate that. The idea that we have with this meeting is to do it once a month. And to begin with, what we wanted to cover is the importance of relationships in the industry. We've had a lot of conversations with manufacturers about the challenge of representation for the brand and have, um, I think, decided that the difference between a brand ambassador and an influencer is there's a pretty big difference with that. So we want to talk about what it means to be a brand ambassador today uh, with you guys, and then we'll go from there. Next month we'll have a different topic, but the same format. Um, so I wanted to share something here before we turn it over to Steve and Will with DEI. So we have a couple of things with CarBuff Network, and I guess I should mention what we're doing with CarBuff Network and our whole idea behind getting everybody together. DEI, we've been working together, I think, for what, 4 years or so, Steve?
Yeah, right around there. Yeah, by now.
Yep. And so these guys have worked with us, and as we've come up with new ideas. And one of the things that I want to share here is their website. And I think I have to get out of this real quick. And okay, now I'm going into their site. So two things that I want to show here on their homepage, and you guys might mention this or as you're talking, but I wanted to point it out. There's two functions of CarBuff Network that we're feeding into websites that we believe are very helpful for the industry in general. One is the newsfeed. And so as vehicles tag DEI, they go into this newsfeed on their homepage. So as they're updated, it shows updated vehicles. It also shows events they plan to attend. And so this is a great way to get content coming into the manufacturer's website. And it's really generated by multiple sources, but it's all relevant to your brand. So in this case, DEI, everything on the newsfeed here has DEI products, or it's an event they plan to attend. The other thing that I wanted to show everybody here real quick is the customer builds. So when the manufacturer is tagged on a build in the tech sheet, that when it's published, the vehicle's published, the manufacturer receives an email with a link. So you're able to see what vehicles are tagging your brand, but it also feeds into your website. So this creates a database of customer builds on DEI's website. But the really neat thing about this is manufacturers are able to help each other. So it's not just DEI getting exposure on these builds, it's every company involved in the build is getting exposure when somebody comes to DEI and looks at the customer builds. And this is reciprocal. It works the same way. Where we have more and more manufacturers putting this on their website because it makes it a lot easier for you to track the builds and probably find out about builds you didn't know you were involved with. So anyways, those were the two things I wanted to point out on the website there. So today's panel I want to introduce real quick, and then I'll turn the time over to you guys. We've got DEI, Design Engineering Inc., Steve and Will. Those guys are kind of the face of the marketing for DEI, very involved with events and the brand ambassadors. And so we talk pretty often about how they work with brand ambassadors, and CarBuff has brought brand ambassadors to DEI through the year. So it's a really good working relationship with these guys. We also wanted to bring in a brand ambassador of DEI, and that's Kyle Kuhnhausen. You'll hear from Kyle here shortly in the relationship that he has with DEI and other manufacturers that he works with. And then we wanted to bring in an event that DEI is associated with, and that was an easy one because they are very tied into the Triple Crown of Rotting. And so we're excited to have Gary Case and Bobby Alloway here with us to talk, give their perspective on relationships. And Bobby's probably one of the most loyal builders in the industry, and he may talk a little bit about that, but has a lot of really long-term relationships. And so excited to have that perspective. And then we have In the Garage Media, and I'm hoping, Brian, are you on the call with us? I know.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Good. So we've got Brian Brennan from In the Garage Media, and they were instrumental in kind of helping to develop the Triple Crown of Rotting, because these guys were involved in the original awards, Triple Crown Award at Shades of the Past. So it's kind of a cool evolution with the group here. And so we're really excited to have this group as the panel. And then we've got a group of guys on the panel that'll be asking some questions, and we call them CB7. This is seven companies that are involved. We built a Wagoneer a couple years ago. It was actually at the Triple Crown last year in the Moore and Giles booth. But these guys were very involved in building the Wagoneer. And so they are advisors to me and to CarBuff, and cover a lot of aspects in the industry. And Kyle actually is one of the seven guys involved in that group too. So with that, I think we're a couple minutes ahead of schedule, which is awesome. So I'm going to turn it over to Steve and Will, and we'll go from there.
Thanks, sir. I appreciate it. It's good to see everybody. I know a lot of the faces in the panel, but not all of them personally. So it's good to meet some of the people and put some faces to the names as well. So I'm Steve Garrett. I'm the creative director here at Design Engineering. I've been here for about 12 years now. And behind me is Will Farkas. He's our social media specialist, and he's been absolutely integral in developing a lot of the relationships that we've had and that we do have as far as ambassadors and people that we work with on a daily basis here. So Will gets a lot of credit for working and building those relationships on a daily basis. But for those that don't know, we manufacture heat and sound control products for the performance restoration. We're in the RV industries, those kind of things as well. Some OEM product, but it all based on heat and sound control. We've really gotten a chance to really build our network with some of our ambassadors like Kyle. I see some of the other ones, Crystal, I see you, and KTL, and the Goolsby and Eddie's and all you guys, Dom, Two Chief, Hot Rods. All you guys have been great for us, and it really does wonders that you don't know about. Kind of behind the scenes, having those relationships and having to build those relationships. So we've been lucky to have them. And Trent, you've introduced us to a handful of these people as well. So it's been nice to grow with that kind of group of people at hand. So. But that's what we do. It's Will and I that basically run our marketing here. Everything from our video production. You can kind of see we're in our office/studio here. So we do all of our creative, all of our content here. And we farm out very little. The nice thing about working with some of you guys as well, you guys supply a lot of good content for us too. And to working with you in India, kind of an unofficial agreement. We get a lot of good content that you guys let us use for our marketing purposes. So that's the benefit for us. And that's one of the reasons why we build those relationships on more of a personal level too than kind of a corporate level where we're not gonna send out a contract for you and I need 4 posts a month, I need 2 videos, I need that's not us, and I think that's worked well for us, to really build that personal relationship with people. So yeah, that's kind of where we stand on how we see things.
So I actually have a question for Will here
Yeah.
real quick, because Will, you're very involved in the brand ambassadors. You're kind of the face of the company when out at events.
Yeah.
What do you look for in a brand ambassador?
So really, I think the biggest thing is just genuine interest. I mean, there's got to be a genuine interest in a couple different things, and that's one, the product. I think there's got to be a genuine need/interest. There's got to be a true understanding of the product, and we're happy to help explain things if they aren't too knowledgeable on that at the time. Obviously, we're happy to teach and provide info on all of that. But I think just a genuine interest, and it can't be more so, hey, I just want to build this car and I want to build this car for free. There's got to be an interest there where they want to grow themselves. They need the support of other brands to help grow themselves. And then in turn, we'd like to see growth on our end as well. It's just kind of we scratch your back, you scratch ours. I mean, everyone gets helped out in this situation. So really just a genuine interest and someone that's personable. I think that's a big part of it, is being able to build that relationship. Because if it's just a sheer, if it's just you only talk product, there's nothing else around it, I think it's hard to build a relationship around that. So if you can say, hey, after the show, let's go grab a beer, let's go grab dinner, anything like that, I think being able to have that natural relationship just makes the business side of things flow a million times better.
Yeah, I'm 100% with that. It's everybody we look for kind of fills in and aligns with the values that we have here. And I think that's kind of the only way to mesh it. If so, one of our in-house core values is kind of do the right thing right away. And we like to align our people that have that same thought process. That need the product, that know that they have the quality that they can build, and they need the product to use that as the quality that we can supply. And they can our ambassador can get as much out of our relationship as we can get out of it. That's the key thing. We're not just in it for ourselves, and I think that comes through in a lot of the relationships we build.
Yeah. And I think it's worth mentioning now. I think there's a lot of companies in this meeting that need to really think about identifying brand ambassadors. And I would say, as I've thought a lot about it, the best brand ambassadors are the ones that would run your products whether or not it was given to them.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's an ambassador, somebody that's going to actually represent your brand even if you're not there. So I think that's a good segue into Kyle. You guys want to introduce Kyle Kuhnhausen?
Yeah. So I'll introduce Kyle. Trent was awesome enough. I mean, I think it's been how many years now, Kyle? I want to say 4, right around 3, 4.
Yeah, about 4 years.
Yeah. So Trent introduced us to Kyle, and I will let Kyle take the lead, introduce himself.
Hey, everybody, Kyle Kuhnhausen. I've worked with DEI. I've worked with a lot of companies. What I do is I'm a one-man hot rod shop. My dad just sold his business, and now he works for me in a part-time capacity, but he was doing that before anyways. But basically, we just build 1 to 2 cars here, going at a time. And when one's done, a new one comes in. But we try to keep the level of quality and try to do things exactly the way we want them done on each of those cars. We're not trying to produce a lot at a time, but produce some really nice stuff, I think. But basically, I love what Trent said as being someone who's pegged as a brand ambassador for things, it's definitely, those conversations don't even start unless I'm already using that product. You could come up to me and then and introduce your product, but I'm probably going to buy it the first time, because the people that I would be representing this product for, and to, you know, other blue collar folks like myself that are going to spend their hard-earned money on a product, it means the world to me that I'm not just sending them, you know, to whoever's paying me the most or providing the most product. That means nothing, because in an industry like this where reputation is everything, and you're only as good as the last car you built, you're also only as good as the last product you endorse. So it's really critical that in representing these things, we don't lose that we're only pushing things that are truly good things. You know, DEI makes really good heat sleeving. I really like, and I use on everything. And I was using it before I ever met, you know, my DEI guys over there. So now it's really awesome that we have this understanding where, you know, if I need some product, they got my back. And if they need a little bit of, you know, Instagram reel or showing up to a show, or just word of mouth, letting people know, you know, this is the product I'm using, it's just natural. Like, there's nothing to it. There's no, you know, things that don't work are when you're forcing it. People cut right through the BS. You know, if it's, hey, I have to do these three videos to show this product to get it paid for, like that really doesn't market anything, because people just go, hey, this is just a paid ad. This guy doesn't even care. It carries no weight. Whereas maybe it's just like one story here and there on social media, or just one organic conversation at the SEMA show, or you know, an event like the Triple Crown. That's definitely one that's on my radar. It's on the other side of the country, but I think it'd be worth the trip over there at some point with one of my latest builds. But
Kyle, I'm going to cut in here real quick, because I do have your the Corvette that you're talking about. I do have it. I'd like to show it, and you can maybe we have a couple minutes if you want to just talk a little bit about that, and how I'm selfishly maybe referring to how you work with CarBuff when you're presenting a project to partners.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to share this again, the screen here. And let's see. There we go. Can you guys see that, the Corvette?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, Kyle, you want to just take us through this here real quick?
Yeah, so this is my latest work, kind of building on some of my past body of work. 66 Corvette. Really had to push myself maybe 2 notches up to build this car. Just trying to better myself, trying to reach further, trying to do things that, you know, the way my peers have set the pretty high standard there. I see Goolsby, I see Mr. Alloway on the call. You know, I'm just trying to do things as good as I can do them, but definitely, you know, aiming to do what these guys have already done. It's really a cool car. I'm very excited about it. I put everything I have into it. But I guess kind of the point of this conversation is, how am I using CarBuff, you know, to sell this thing? How am I using CarBuff in my business capacity? Basically, CarBuff is what I use for all of my media outside of social media. I'm just trying to direct people to CarBuff, because it's an awesome place to show people the builds I'm doing, the brands I work with, the brands who will claim they work with me, you know, that will own it and say, hey, we trust this guy, we endorse him. And then any media that may have spurred up, you know, a magazine here, a YouTube video here, I can just put all that together, put it in one neat package, throw it on my website, and then also throw a QR code on whatever marketing materials, and people can go right to CarBuff, see what all I'm about in, you know, a matter of minutes, see all the builds going on, see where I'm taking these builds, what brands I'm using. It's really just a handy tool for me. I'm a busy guy. I don't want to sit in front of a computer, you know, any more than I have to. So if I can just update CarBuff and then use that to kind of branch out everywhere else, I think, you know, it's an incredible time saver for me. And it's also neat and professional looking, and lets people know right off the bat, like, this guy is serious. He wants to build cars. He wants to do a good job for us. And he's well organized. So CarBuff makes it super easy for me to stay on top of that, what would otherwise be kind of daunting, and not maybe something that I want to spend my time doing. I'd rather be under a welding hood 8 days a week than in front of a keyboard. So.
Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
That's Kyle, you and I have been working together, what, 6 years, 7? Whenever you won that Young Guns competition, we were introduced by Dave and Dom Tucci. And Dom's on this call too, but
yeah.
So you referenced the Triple Crown and your desire to take the Corvette to the Triple Crown. So just in maybe less than a minute, why don't you tell us why you would travel across the country for that event, and then we'll just turn the time over to Gary and to Bobby from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple. It's like say I'm a very small operations. I don't have a truck out circling the US all the time. So I got to pick, my events very carefully. Which one's going to give me the most bang for my buck? Obvious things come up like SEMA and places where we all go, but other things come up. The media surrounding the Triple Crown was huge. They had, it looked like a place where all the big boys came and brought really cool stuff. And that's the kind of stuff I'm interested in getting involved with. So that really kind of pegged the map for me. And I'm just thinking, hey, if I am going to go East Coast and make a very condensed tour, minimal work days missed, like that's probably worth going to versus just another, car show. I guess it holds weight in my head, based on the people holding it and then the people who have attended it that first year. And now I was already wanting to, but had some scheduling conflicts for the first one. But, now that it's continuing, it's like, hey, that's kind of almost a bucket list event and something I'll definitely make happen.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and turn the time over. Gary and Bobby, whoever wants to start off, we'll turn it over.
Bobby, why don't you start out, Bobby?
Okay. Thanks, Trent, for having us. Kyle, we really would appreciate you coming. I think you'd really enjoy it. We started the Triple Crown that just because Shades of the Past had been going on for 39 years, and we lost our property up there from Dollywood, which they were expanding and stuff like that and wanted to open up, and which was fine. And the club was old and they had decided to quit. Well, I hadn't decided to quit yet. So I made the mistake of calling Gary, and there's when it went off, because I couldn't have done it without him. I'm the guy he's the one that handles all of this and all of that, and he's done a great job of it. But what we wanted, and his exact words to me, I don't need to practice. He's already done that. So we wanted to do a show. We wanted to be car people that did a show, not promoters. And both of us wanted to do a show that we would want to go to and be treated the way that we would want to be treated. And even the security down there, we told them that you treat people like it's your mama. And that's the way that they were treated. And we had a quality of cars that was, I was dumbfounded by it, because I didn't know that there was that many good cars in the country, and all of them came and they had a good time. We had 1,700 and some change cars, but gosh, they were good. We did a top 30 and we could have done a top 100, but we didn't want to saturate it with awards. We wanted to keep it, and we got a little controversy about that. We didn't give enough awards, but we gave 40 something awards, and they were real good. It was really, really good awards. It's a premier show, and the premier cars come. We're not doing participation awards. It's just a car show for us. Gary, you carry on after this.
So we take a whole different approach on producing the event, and we consider it an event, not really a show, but we take a different approach for our spectators, our participants, and our exhibitors. First, the Triple Crown is only a 2-day event, and it's open to 1972 and down, hot rods, customs, muscle cars, classics, and then 1998 and down, American-made trucks, Chevrolet, GMC, Ford, Dodge. Look, we know it's a huge expense anymore for exhibitors to participate and to be on the road today. We feel exhibitors don't want to incur the added expense associated with traditional 3-day events, usually Sunday. That's why our event is Friday and Saturday. It's over with at 5 o'clock on Saturday. We also feel that participants and spectators, if they're buying or researching brands, they've already committed before Sunday. Also, 80% of our participants, historically, we are aware, leave Sunday morning to travel home. So we don't want to disappoint our spectators who are not aware that the majority of the participants have left to travel home because they're just not aware of it. We offer cost-effective booth space. Our travel agent works exclusively with all of our exhibitors to assist them personally in discounted lodging rates and help in their room reservations. Thursday evening, we invite all of our exhibitors to our host hotel ballroom where they can socialize, network, make some new friends, reminisce with old friends. Last year, we had over 600 attend the Thursday night kickoff party for exhibitors only. At the track, all the exhibitors have access to our hospitality tent, and that's hosted by our media partners in the Garage Media, where throughout the 2 days, they can grab a coffee and donuts in the morning, hot dogs, hamburgers, chips, drinks, what have you, throughout the day, have a seat to relax, or they can grab the food and take it back to their booth. This is all done at no charge for all the exhibitors. And that's sponsored by Modern Rotting, Classic Truck Performance, and all Chevy magazines. We had over 131 exhibitors last year. 99.9% of them are automotive related. We don't accept non-automotive related exhibitors. So if you're selling candles or quilts or gutters or windows, you need to go to the county fair, not the Triple Crown. For the participants, we wanted to create, like Bobby mentioned, an elite level program honoring the best of the best from around the United States. Granted, the awards are just over the top, state of the art with the Gibson, one-off Gibson guitars. The Triple Crown winners get their vehicles on the cover if they're best street rod, best street machine, or best street rotting. If they won't fall into one of the 3 truck categories, they get on the cover of Classic Truck Performance, and all 6 of these get a full feature inside. They also get a guaranteed spot at Barrett-Jackson in January, where they compete for 20 grand in a Barrett-Jackson Cup. Only 50 vehicles are invited nationwide. 6 get an automatic free ride, and I would have to say, Bobby would probably agree, at least 10 were from the Triple Crown. We also do the exact opposite what a lot of shows do, where they may have one elite builder to pick 10 or 15 vehicles. We have 15 industry celebrity guys out there, and each one goes out and picks their one favorite vehicle that they like. And really, especially each of these builders build, or each of these celebrities that are picking their vehicle, build their own award to be given away. And if you think that statement is not something to be recognized, if you think these guys take a lot of pride in building their cars, you have to see what these guys do for these awards. For the spectators, we offer free parking. We offer a free tram shuttle right up to the gate. Kids 15 and under are free. Adults 20 are $20. And if spectators go to any O'Reilly store within a 60-mile radius of the Speedway, the tickets are only $18. So a family of 5 can get in for $36. We give away to any registered participant a brand new hot-rodded Chevrolet Silverado, customized by Bobby and the guys at Alloway's Rod Shop. That's all by luck of the draw. It's a value of 70 grand. We also give away a brand new Blueprint LS3 engine by luck of the draw. That's valued at 10 grand. We have over 50 pinstriping artists that come from all over the country, donate their free time to get there. They do their custom artwork. We have 2 auctions a day, and all of the proceeds for these auctions go to children's charities, Speedway Children's Charities, to assist deprived kids. We have a 50-50 drawing where half goes to one winning ticket. Last year, half went to the Multiple Sclerosis Society. This year, we're giving half to the wounded military veterans. And then I'm just going to say in closing, You know, the Triple Crown of Riding in its inaugural year was voted in USA Today as one of the top 10 events nationwide to attend. I highly recommend everybody just go to triplecrownofriding.com. Go on our homepage. There's a 7-minute recap video. It'll give you the insight of what's going on. Scroll through you can see our event activities. We jam-packed 19 hours in 2 days. And then you can go over to our exhibitor list and see all of the automotive aftermarket companies that are participating. You need to add anything, Bobby?
Nope, you did good.
That's
Hey,
it.
thanks so much, Bobby. We appreciate you guys. We'll probably hear a little bit more from one or both of you as there's a few questions. But you mentioned modern rotting and in the garage media, so I think let's go ahead and turn a few minutes over to Brian. And Brian, you've been involved in this as long as Bobby and Gary have, so I'm sure most everybody on the call knows of you if they don't know you, but we appreciate you being here as well.
I want to thank you, Trent, and everybody from the CarBuff Network for inviting us. We appreciate it. And it's always fun to talk with people who are like-minded about hot rods and the hobby and wanting it to see it do well. Yeah, Bobby and I go back before Bobby was even Mr. Alloway. He was just another hot rodder before he got married. So Gary Case and I worked together at another company, and we never saw each other. He was over in the events division, and I was over in the editorial side. But over the years, there's one thing that's true, because it's been mentioned here about influencers and friendships and relationships. I think I'm living proof that without relationships, you can't make it. And with relationships, you can have a very successful business and enjoy yourself and have a great time. And guys like Bobby or Jonathan, I've had really good times with and had the chance to work with them on various projects. But the one key to this, and I've spoken about this at other seminars, and that's build personal friendships. Personal friendships are what gets you through everything. And I know it's worked for me over the years. And companies like PPG, if you talk to Bobby, PPG and him have been together for, gosh, I don't know how many years. And it's transcended individuals who come and go in the company. It's the company itself has stayed with Bobby forever. And we have stayed with any number of builders, and they've stayed with me. And it's all about getting those personal friendships going, because that's what makes successful. In our case, we have print magazines, we have digital magazines, we have YouTube, we have website. We do all of that sort of thing because that's what modern publicity dictates. But the reality is I have to be able to call up Jonathan and say, Jonathan, what are you working on? And do you have some photos we can borrow? And can we do this? And he has to willingly want to take that time to help me get through this project. And that's where the success comes from. And I can't tell you how many manufacturers have taken their time to help me. And that's really what it's all about. And so Tim, my partner, who couldn't be here today, he's still in a meeting with a client. The main point we wanted to get across was everything is built on friendships. And those friendships are what last decades and what go through good times, bad times. And right now, I'd like to think we're on the verge of a really good time. And so I make sure to stay close to Jonathan and Bobby and make sure they tell me about what builds they've got going on, and so we can bring it to our readers. Because today, publicity is one of two things. It's either short form or long form. Short form is what you get on social media or even a website story. And events end up on websites literally while they're happening, whether it be the Grand National Roadster Show, the Detroit Autorama. You can find everything out about the event each day as things are happening in real time. But history has taught us, and it's teaching us again, that guys still like long form. And that's where they sit down, and whether we put it up on our digital magazine or in the print magazine, and we explain what's going on, and we give them more data and more information than web stories typically translate. So we're continually pursuing that, and hopefully things will keep on going very well for us. I mean, you know, companies like Design Engineering, you know, they're one of our partners, especially on our digital side, and that's a big deal for us. And then we get Bobby and Gary who help us out on the print side. You know, they advertise there. And so it's bringing together all of these friendships to make all of this work. And, you know, that's the short version. So there you go, Trent.
Great. Brian, thanks. Am I getting an echo with you guys? No. All right. You bring up a really good point. Every company in here involved has had help. Like, I think about all of the conversations I've had with each one of you through the last 15 years for CarBuff, and you know, we owe a lot just to be able to associate in this meeting to the people that have helped, and we're all that way. So I think we're at a kind of a crossroads right now in the industry where we have an opportunity. It's a challenge right now, I believe, for manufacturers in navigating the relationships with influencers. And influencer has gotten kind of maybe a negative rap. But I think we have a really good opportunity to change that and educate people coming into the industry that are influencers that can become an ambassador. And so that's the shift that we want to help make happen here. And so you guys are just a good example of that, relationships for years in the industry. So it needs to keep going in that direction. And we're going to do that with this. So with that, I'm going to introduce really quickly the group that I brought with me, CB7. So we've got Michael Pettit from Eddie's Rod and Custom. We've got Nate Staker from Resurgence Automotive. We've got Dom Tucci from Dom Tucci Design and Tucci Hot Rods. We've got Tom Maddock. Tom, you may recognize Tom from Matt's Off-Road. Tom does the fabrication, built the big wrecker and does a lot of their stuff there. And then we've got Danny Augusta from Steel Rubber. Danny's grandfather started the company. And then Zach Zamudio with Pyramid Optimized. And the valve covers on the Wagoneer for the Hemi. We have a 392 in that. And Zach got SEMA Product of the Year probably, 3 years ago, Zach? And that's how we met. I ran him down knowing that we were going to get a Hemi in the Jeep, and we became fast friends. And Zach's now someone that I talk to on a weekly basis. So that's the group. And so we'll turn it over. I want to turn it over to the panel now for questions. What I think we need to do here, we've got time for probably 3 questions if we keep them to 5 minutes apiece. So I'll turn it over. Whoever wants to fire off the first question, let's go for it.
I'll ask a question. I wanted to ask Brian, what is the future of print media in your mind?
Well, you have to, first off, you can no longer say print media and think it stands on its own.
Right.
Print media, think of a 5-spoke American wheel. You know, that's how I do my analogy. And the reader or the viewer is in the center. And so there are spokes going out that bring him information. So print has print, you know, traditional print. And then we've got our digital magazine for guys that just want to read everything on their smartphone. And then, of course, we have YouTube, because videos we know are a big deal. And the videos we did at the Grand National Roadster Show and the private videos that we do where we're hired by companies like PPG. In fact, we did one on Bobby and Charlie Hutton and whatnot. Those get huge audiences. And then, of course, there's the typical social media. In our case, it's Instagram and Facebook. Those are the ones that we primarily work with. As far as the print goes, itself, if you tried to just segment it, well, we've proven it's successful because the books, all 3 books have gone up each month in circulation. We just had our circulation meeting yesterday. The biggest downfall to print, frankly, was being in newsstands, because the business model there says you print more books that you're not going to sell than you do sell. So it's a loser. But the idea was it brought in a lot of eyeballs. Well, nowadays, social media is bringing in those eyeballs at a fraction of the cost. So we're using print media highly specific with where the stores that we're going to now, such as Barnes and Noble and that type of thing, because we have very, very high sell-throughs. So that makes it good, you know, from a business standpoint, but we're reaching people who actually want to know about this subject because they pick it up. We have found that with the internet, social media and whatnot, there's a lot of eyeballs, but a lot of eyeballs don't necessarily translate into people who will become enthusiasts or people who will purchase, which is what we're trying to do for our advertisers. Obviously, we want to reach people who want to purchase product. But as far as print goes, I'd have to say that it's going to be here for a while. Is it going to be like it was in the old days? Probably not. But then again, print now is associated with all things digital. So the 2 of them together, that just makes a complete package. So Zach, I hope that kind of answers your question.
You know, I appreciate that. I think most of us here that are probably older than 40 learned a lot from magazines, and that's how we got into this whole thing. And, you know, I grew up in a hot rod shop, and you get the new magazine, you just be freaking out, you know. So I'm pulling for print media. I love it. And so that was why I asked the question. So
yeah, well, thank you. Although I like to think that modern print is offering more than just print.
yeah,
With its companions with YouTube and digital magazines and all of that. So it's a much larger scope. The one area that, and this is probably where I'm going to step on a lot of toes, but Bobby will tell you I'm good at this. The term influencer, I would have rather they come up with something different, because my experience has taught me that I don't want to influence Bobby's build or Jonathan's build. I want to be a conduit. I want to bring to the end user what they had in their mind. So I don't want to tilt something one way or the other. We work a great deal with Art Morrison Enterprises, the Roadster Shop, Flaming River, you know, PPG, all of these companies. I don't want to influence the end user to buy this product if they don't think they're going to have a good experience. So what I'm trying to do is bring out what these products have that's advantageous. I want to bring out the good in these. And so I don't want to be an influencer. I want to be a conduit. I want to let the product speak for itself. I want to let the builder speak for themselves. And that may or may not be the right, you know, the right way to take it or for me to present it. But that's something that I've tried to instill in our company, and that's what we do.
And I actually agree, and I think it's important to designate what we were talking the other day, Trent, about the difference between an influencer and an ambassador. You know, we've had an influencer we worked with in years past that you know, we did sign the contract with. You know, we did you know, there was a list of certain things that we needed from them, you know, to get out, and it was very businesslike. And you know, that relationship worked well, but over the past, you know, however many years, you know, that it wasn't something that we continued to do. You know, they would begin to work with another heat and sound control company, but to come to find out that they're still using our DEI products on their personal cars, you know, even though they're now getting paid from maybe another supplier or another area, but still using our product on their own personal cars, you know, because they didn't believe in the product. So that way, you know, that influencer is now just an influencer and a business person. That's not the ambassador that we're trying to build. We're trying to build that personal relationship that they do want to use the product, they do want to endorse our product, and because they believe in it, not because there's a check coming your way. And I think that's how we continue to build those relationships with the best that are out there. I mean, look at the people that are on this panel, that we already consistently work with, and I think there's a big difference in the two, an influencer and an ambassador at this point. But
Yep, good point, Steve. And I just want to be careful to say that there are also influencers out there that I would consider a brand ambassador, but
yeah,
the
for sure.
industry
For sure.
has kind of coined the term influencer. So I just want to be clear. I'm not saying every traditional, influencer
Absolutely. Yeah, that's
either.
Yeah,
So,
you're 100% right. It's not every. It's actually probably a small minority that are that way. But I think the word ambassador hits a little bit harder when you can you're not looking for a business like approach to everything. And you really believe in who you're using and what you're using.
Yeah.
well, and an ambassador is really going to be somebody that's an extension of your marketing team. They're going to tell the story at the event when you're not there. That's an ambassador.
Yeah. It's nice to be able to, when we're at events, when we're at Triple Crown, when we're at Good Guys and working all these events, and we have somebody come up to ask us, well, what's the difference in your product compared to so and so, and it's nice to be able to say, walk outside and go talk to Jonathan Goolsby, or go talk to Tucci, or go talk to the Roaster Shop, or go talk to Goldman or KTL or Eddie's, whoever's at that event, and they'll tell you because they do believe in the product. They're not just just someone that's getting paid to use our product and promote us. It's nice to see that.
Yep. Good. All right. What else? Another question from the panel.
This is Danny. I think it was Will who kind of mentioned earlier, looking for that genuine interest, and I think that's a big one as well. We have done the same thing. We've signed up with lots of builders in the past, but a couple who I would call influencers who came out of nowhere. They've got some following. They've kind of got like a mixed spread of what they're doing on their page. It might be cars and guns or something like that. I don't know. And they have like 1 million people, and for free product, one post on their page, maybe we'll get something. But it's typically not even our customers, the people we want them to influence, that are their audience either. So, a couple things. I had really had 2 questions, and I don't know really what the content would be, but so we get all kinds of stuff from people we've sponsored. I've worked with many of you before, and I think one thing that we struggle with, and I don't know if y'all be able to help me with it or not, is really how to leverage that in return. So we get all the pictures from CarBuff, which I think is an awesome tool. We have that feature on our website that shows all the display. But we don't really know how to leverage that into anything that's useful then for us, other than just kind of sharing it and saying, hey, look at this. They use our stuff, and how to make that feel organic. So that was kind of the first question. And the second one I'll remember as soon as we get talking again.
Yeah, no. So I think really, I think it's got to come naturally. So, I think you got to make sure everyone's comfortable in the situation. You can't make a press and say, all right, this is what I expect. This is when I need it by. Draw that deadline and just make it have that real corporate feel. I think you got to kind of get an understanding of, or if you don't already have, get an understanding, one, of what you guys want, whether it's you guys need B-roll for a commercial shot, you need a testimonial video for a Facebook ad you want to run, whatever it is that specific that you want, you got to identify that, I think, and then let that content kind of naturally happen. Because it might not be with the specific person that you're working with at that time. So obviously you can't force something. So say that we want to run a B-roll on a turbo blanket, but someone we're working with, they don't have a turbo setup car. So we'll wait because obviously they're not going to be able to create anything there. So I think it's identifying what you want at first, and then once you have that relationship, just putting it out there and saying, hey, this is ideally what we want to see at the end of the day. What can we do to help make that possible? Because I think that's a big part of it too, is you can supply the product and that side of it's taken care of, but I think there needs to be help on the back end too, and say, hey, how can we help promote that? What can we do on our end to help other than just supply the product? So I think it's just identifying the content you want and working in a kind of relaxing or a relaxed manner to get to that goal.
Well,
Yeah,
I would add something. Danny, I would also say when you're trying to identify the brand ambassadors, really figuring out who you guys want to represent your brand. I think that stuff will come more natural as the relationships. I mean, and you have lots of relationships in the industry, but I think going back to the need for the manufacturers to really understand the position that you're in, we need to get the control, at least initially, back in the hands of the manufacturers, where you're kind of setting the expectation. But the expectation in my mind would be that we're going to build a relationship and we're going to work together for a long time. And then as that relationship kind of unfolds, I would say that that type of thing comes naturally, like Will's saying.
Yeah. To branch on that, Trent, like a prime example of this is we worked, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Derek with Vice Grip Garage. She's got a big YouTube channel, and we worked with Derek a couple of years ago when we did the Hot Rod Power Tour. And essentially what we did is just offer him a home during the tour. So it's, hey, you need a spot to park the truck. You want the wife and the kids to come hang out, have a spot in the shade. You guys need water, whatever it may be, just a home base at each of the stops. And then that blossomed into a great relationship with Derek, where another example is, I think it was like a Saturday night, I got a text from Derek saying, hey, we're all at Cletus's running in the Crown Victorias that they race at his circle track. And Derek literally sent me a picture of his foot, and it was disgusting. I mean, it was
Melted.
skin melted, like looking infected and terrible. But he's like, is this something you guys think that you could help with? And so that's just an example of it kind of coming on naturally, because then we got in touch with the guys with Cletus in his shop. Didn't send any, hey, we need this info, we need this technical data from you, Cletus, we need spreadsheets, all that. It was, hey,
What do you need?
Yeah, what do you guys need? What's the problem? Well, how can we fix it? We sent out product that next week, and then I didn't even ask for anything specifically. It was like, hey, let's just take care of your problem so I know you guys are taken care of. And then we ended up having a almost 3-minute spot on a video that got 1 million views in 2 days, I think. So it's a lot of it, like Trent said, I think comes naturally once you have that relationship built, and yeah, I think that's just naturally flows.
No, that's a good point. And it kind of answers my second question, which, is, we have people ask us for product all the time, but we rarely go seek out someone to partner with them. And I don't know if that's something that you do or not. But, as you're kind of talking, one of the things that I realize in my organization is I'm also like one step removed from the builder who's asking for the parts. And I feel like that's a little bit of a miss on my part, because there is not much of a relationship being built outside of what I build at shows. Not during that conversation, not during that build. So I think that's a miss for me. But do you seek out people in particular and go talk to them, meet them, and then connect that way?
Yeah. I mean, so there's a bunch of different ways. So I mean, if there's someone where it's just, because I mean, at the end of the day, we're hot rod guys, we're car guys. I mean, we love this stuff. So if I see a build that is just mind blowing, or if I see consistent, strong builds from someone and I know they're not using our product, I don't hesitate to go say, hey, what are you using for your product? I mean, how can we get involved? And I try not to step on toes, because if there is a relationship there that they've already developed with a competitor of ours or anything like that, that is what it is. There's not much I can do about it. But if they have a genuine interest in our products and supporting us as a brand, then I'm more than happy to have that conversation. But yeah, so we'll go and seek out organically like that at events. And then we'll also, like, we have a whole sponsorship page on our website. So there's that option. If you know that you need help from us or you need help with product, you can at least fill out this form, reach out to us, and then we can begin the conversation there. So I guess we do leave the door kind of open for that. And that's not to say that we can give everyone free product. We can give everyone money. We can do what everyone wants, because we can. At the end of the day, you're going to have budgets. You're going to have your limits. But at least just offering that helping hand, say, hey, we can't do this, but we can help you in this way. And at the end of the day, you're still trying to help. So I think that's still what matters at the end.
Yeah, Will's right. I mean, we kind of have a philosophy here from our owner too, is that from when I started 12 years ago, it says everybody gets something. We might not be able to give free product, and we have a pretty good vetting process, on who gets, who can get free stuff, who can get a discount, who can get that kind of thing. But if somebody sends us a letter or sends us an email, say, hey, I'm building this car. Is there anything you can do for me? That guy, we might not be able to do anything for him, but he still might get a decal, a hat, and a shirt sent his way. Everybody gets something, because even if it's the smallest little gesture, they're still celebrating our brand, and they're still pushing our brand, no matter what. So it might be a sticker in the mail, but you're going to get something from us, at least to start that talk, that process,
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I think we've got time for one more question. If we can make it really quick, and then I will wrap this up for us.
Got a question for Steve and Will. How do you guys use feedback that you get from builders that use your product to develop new products?
So I think I just take it straight to our product development manager. Because he is a car guy as well. He's very involved in this stuff. So I get straight to the point. I'm a very straight to the point guy. So if there's a problem with something, I'll go straight to him. I'll let him know the problem and say, hey, what can we do to fix this? Like, for example, we are having an issue with an adhesive on a tape product of ours. So immediately I went to him, hey, how can we level up this tape so that we don't run into this issue going forward? And then I think in terms of like developing new products, it's really recognizing what's working, what's not working, and what could work better. So for example, like our floor and tunnel shield, the adhesive backed heat shielding that you'll see guys use on trans tunnels, lower firewalls, any bottom spots of the car. We're looking at that and we realize, hey, the silver kind of clashes. Pretty much everyone does a black undercoating on the car. So why don't we come out with a black finish material so that way it blends right into the undercoat of the car? So
yeah, it's a good point. We use your guys' input and we take it to heart.
Yeah.
A lot of times we can get too close to things. You can't kind of see some fine details, or we might be overlooking some things. And we've sent out questionnaires, or even just made a phone call. Say, is there something you guys are struggling with? I think we're pretty good at developing new product. We usually come out with 3 or 4 good new products a year. But the input from the builders, especially the high-end builders like you guys here, it's vital to us. If you guys are having an issue, that means the guy down the line is going to have an issue.
Yeah.
And we've developed a lot of new product from your guys' input.
Yeah, I think part of it is that natural relationship, just the comfortness level of me saying, hey, how's the product working? And I just want a no BS answer. If something's not working, then tell me how it is and we'll do what it takes to fix it. So I think building that personal relationship and having that comfort level where you can tell me something's not working and I'll make that fix to make sure that it works going forward. So
Yeah.
I think that kind of the relationship is a big part of it too, just having that comfort level to be willing to say these things and dive into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's a great note to end on. As we have these conversations in the coming months, the key here is to make us all better, right? So the manufacturers, they're learning from the shops are learning from the manufacturers, the brand ambassadors are I mean, it's what makes this industry continue to thrive is being open to input and then doing something with it. And that's why we were excited to have DEI involved as the first manufacturer on this in this Zoom webinar series, because you guys are really good at taking input and coming back with a product to solve an issue. And these builders they would all tell you that they're problem solvers. I mean, I've heard that over and over from builders. We don't build cars, we solve problems and end up with a car, right? And that's kind of the process. And as you guys, the shops, are able to work directly with the manufacturers that you believe in, it's better for the manufacturer to have that relationship. And so a brand ambassador truly is somebody that wears many hats, from research and development to racing to whatever the case is. And I think it's an awesome opportunity for the manufacturers to identify who you are already working with, who are your customers right now, and go after the ones that you want to be associated with at maybe a higher level. That's the opportunity. You've already got the ambassadors probably in your book, and there's going to be others that you're not working with yet, but you know, they'll come your way. So from what we've seen at CarBuff and in working with a lot of these brands and helping to place product on builds that we feel will get the right exposure for the brands, it's exciting to see companies working together. We've seen a lot of relationships develop through the Wagoneer build where companies hadn't worked together prior to that, but they do now. And that's really fun to be a part of. One last thing, we are recording this. We will send this out tomorrow. If we can get it edited, I think we'll get it edited tonight and send it out to everybody. Please share this. The meeting is open to all manufacturers in the automotive aftermarket, but specifically we're inviting brand ambassadors from the companies that have a pro account with CarBuff. We want to keep going, building what we're building, but that's the way that we are able to keep it going is pro accounts on CarBuff. So we want everybody in the manufacturing to be a part of this, so everybody can see how we can work together as an industry. But we also want to have the brand ambassadors get a better understanding, and those brand ambassadors are coming through the pro accounts with CarBuff. The general public, they can view the webinars after we've done them, but this isn't something that's we're not doing this for the general public. We're doing this for the core of the industry, and so we'll always keep it that way. It's not something that we're interested in just getting everybody we possibly can in. This is to help the industry at its core continue to develop in the right direction. So thank you, everybody, for being involved in this. We appreciate it. And we just ask that you just share what your thoughts were on this with us. If there's topics that you feel are important and valuable to the industry that we can cover in the future, let us know. And we look forward to doing this next time. Thanks so much, everybody, and have a great day.